in these tailing ponds is full of carcinogens, anything from heavy metals to arsenic to cyanides to organochlorines to PCBs, PAHs, dioxins and furans in very high concentration. I used to be an environmental technologist before I became an animal rights activist, and my job was to monitor the discharges from the mines in British Columbia and pulp mills, and it's very stringent. If the discharge exceeds 1 part per million in a certain controlled substance, the mine can be closed down. This is so dirty that even if you dilute the water 1,000%, 1,000 times and submit it to my lab for analysis, it will exceed the maximum allowable concentration by 1,000 times. In other words, the concentration of the toxins in here is about 1 million times higher than the environment can sustain. And these tailing ponds are just the wastewater that was used, and these are the waste sand that still contain tons and tons of waste material. And they use enough natural gas to heat the water, which is extracted. The water is extracted from the Athabasca watershed, upon which the native people living there depend for their food. And there are only 6 mines right now. By 2020, the Canadian government intends to open 20 mines. Now, as you know, in Maryland, in West Virginia, anywhere, if you want to open a mine, say a coal mine, you would need to go through an environmental assessment process, which usually would take 2 or 3 years to complete before the mine is allowed to even open. These places, they're so dirty, and the government knows it, the big oil companies know it, and they're so powerful that they have totally violated Canada's own environmental laws, so that when you want to open one of these mines, you do not need an environmental assessment. All you need is the money. With the money, they will give you a permit within 2 weeks of your application. Currently, these 6 mines out of the 20 that is intended they use natural gas to heat the water, and they use enough natural gas to be able to heat or cool 3.8 million homes, be it on a per hour basis, per day, per week, per year, because these mines keep on operating 24/7, 365 days a year. And and these 6 mines already have used up enough water in the Athabasca watershed that the natural ecosystem has already been driven to the breaking point. A lot of fish habitats have been destroyed already. And believe it or not, this one here is not a natural lake. This one here is supposed to be one of the tailing ponds. I just couldn't believe it. When I was flying over there, I see maybe 2 big bodies of water, one on the left, one on the right. The one on the left is smaller. I asked the plane pilot whether that one is a natural lake. He says that one's a natural lake. How about this one? That's bigger. This one's a tailing pond. White flowing past the tailing pond within maybe 100 to 200 feet is the Athabasca River. And when you fly over it, the tailing ponds are multicolored, and you can see seeping of toxins right into the river. You can see multicolored sheets right down the river flowing down to the Athabasca Lake. Now, when it comes to abusing the animals in that area, the native people, first of all, are getting sky-high cancer rates now of a very, very toxic, very exotic kind of cancer. There was a local doctor called Dr. O'Connor who blew the whistle on this, and now his medical license is going to be revoked because the government is accusing him of raising false alarms. The native people, when I went to visit him, and here is the animal part, he brought out a fish from his freezer and showed it to me. That fish is full of tumors. It has some kind of strange-looking appendages growing out of it. And it is because the native people have been eating this fish and eating the moose meat in that area. And moose meat is considered to be toxic. So the entire northern Alberta, and that is the size of a small country like Belgium, Holland, maybe even bigger, maybe even Scotland. All the animals and plants are completely toxified, and you cannot revert this for thousands of years. There's no technology to clean this up. The mines declared that they're going to clean up things after their operation. But guess what? For example, the Exxon Valdez spill. ExxonMobil cleaned up the cleanup cost, put up 50% of the whole cleanup cost of the entire operation, and they declared that the Exxon Valdez spill has been completely cleaned up. They have fixed 50%, leaving 85% still in the ground today. The effect still can be seen, both biologically and socially. This is far, far, far worse than Exxon Valdez. This is staying there, sitting there, seeping into the aquifer. It is seeping into the entire water system. And the water system flows into the Arctic Ocean eventually. So the Arctic Ocean is getting a huge dose of this too. So the Arctic Ocean's biology, including the harp seals, the polar bears, will be impacted. So this is one of the things that we must stop, and that is the Canadian tar sands. I come from Canada, and I'm asking the American people to boycott the Canadian tar sands oil. There's something good about what's happening, because the Association of U.S. Mayors have signed a declaration, many mayors have signed on, that their city will not use gasoline derived from